Good afternoon. This is Lee Iben. I'm with the Washington Chamber of Commerce, and we are broadcasting today here at the Chamber building in downtown Washington. And my name, like I said, is Lee Iben, and I'm with ActionCOACH Campus as well. And ActionCOACH Campus is a business coaching firm. And once a month, we do a lunch and learn for the members of the Washington Chamber of Commerce. And today we're going to talk about building a better business plan. And if you haven't looked at your business plan for a while, it may be time to grab it off the shelf, dust it off, open the cover, and let's take a look at it. But there are some key elements that you need to have in your business plan to make sure that you're hitting your KPIs and your projections every year, every month, every quarter. So I want to go through those with you today. So I'm going to share my screen and pull up my PowerPoint. And we're going to go through this. So let's talk about our ultimate business plan. Today, if you watch through this thing, it'll take us about maybe 35 minutes or so. So please get a cup of coffee over your lunch hour, grab a pen and paper, and take some notes. Of course, if you have any questions, you can reach out to us here at the Chamber of Commerce. Talk to Michelle Redlinger, or you can always talk to me as well. Michelle has my contact information. You also see it on your screen. ActionCOACHcampus.com, and that will put you in touch with my team, and we can certainly help you with your business plan if you have questions. But you're going to understand when we're done today about the goals and the direction for your business in the next 5 years. We also want to make sure that we pinpoint that critical success factors, the things that actually make your business what it is. We want to identify the uniqueness in your business, and it's your uniqueness that's going to give you a competitive advantage over similar businesses within your industry. We want to have clarity on the people that you're going to need within your organization so you can grow your organization, and to find those products and services in that mix that you need to achieve your revenue targets. So today, quite simply, we're going to do a little bit of mind expansion, if you will. And we're going to challenge the way that you think about your business. The very, very first thing that you need to have as a business owner is the right mindset. You absolutely need to be above the point of power is what we call it, or above the line. And when you are above the point, you are living in a space that's defined by ownership, accountability, and responsibility. In other words, you take ownership for everything that happens within your business. You are accountable for every aspect of your business, and you are responsible for all your employees, all your products, all your services. We do not live below the line. We do not live in that blame, excuses, denial space. That is not who we are, and for successful business owners, we cannot be there. I will admit there are times when we feel like we are, that we want to blame the weather, blame the politics here on election day. But interestingly enough, your business plan is not based upon politics, okay? It's based upon you and your efforts. And today we're going to help you to find those efforts that will bring you success in your business. Now, we've all heard the expression from time to time, especially if you have kids, teenagers at home. You tell them to do something, or you try to educate them on something, like, I know. They roll their eyes to the back of their head and they say, I know, I get it. But what happens when you say that? Like, I've heard it all before. Your mind shuts off and you don't listen for the possible nugget, that kernel of wisdom that could come forward. So rather than saying, I know, let's say instead, isn't that interesting? And then keep an open mind about what we're going to talk about today. It's interesting to me that the people that plan, okay, the people that put goals into place, only 3% of the population actually plan out their goals. They plan out their future. And yet it's those 3% of the population that have their written goals in place that represent 98% of the wealth. That's appalling, actually, but it's based on fact and on research. So we want to make sure that you have a written plan, that you have written goals in place, because we want to keep you in that upper 98%, that representative of that 98%. So Richard Branson, if we can quote him for a second, if you can learn to run one business successfully, then you can certainly learn to run any number of businesses successfully, because the business principles are all the same. I don't care what industry you're in, whether you're in the restaurant business, whether you're in the dental business, it could be any type of business, farming, whatever business type we're in. If you flip that coin over, your business plan is always the same. And what is the business plan? Quite simply, it is a system for generating cash. Let me put this in very plain language. If you're building a business, someday, one of three things are going to happen. You're going to be done with that business, and you're going to want to get rid of it. You're going to want to sell it to somebody. It may be a business partner, it may be your children, it may be a third-party investor, okay? When that happens, what that investor is looking to purchase from you is a system for generating cash. That's it. That's what you're selling, is your system for generating cash. If you're in the restaurant business, what we're going to build is your recipe book for generating cash. If you were to take your business plan to a banker, your banker is going to look at two things within your business plan. They want to see your plan, your recipe book for generating cash. They want to see what the primary method is, and then they want to see what your backup plan is. In other words, if your main business plan doesn't work out, if it falls through, what's your backup plan? Now, of course, your banker wants to know that, because if you're taking out a bank loan, they want to make sure that they're going to be repaid. But that's an important lesson for all of us, because we need to have that backup plan. COVID-19 taught us that. The derecho in August taught us that. We need to have a backup plan for generating cash, because as business owners, we have obligations, and we want to make sure that we can meet those financial obligations, those human resource obligations, month in and month out. So we want to have plans. We want to have a primary plan and a backup plan. So let's talk about our structure a little bit on our business plan. We want to write out a cash flow statement. Now, seriously, this is as easy as getting a pencil, getting a piece of paper, use the calculator on your phone, and we're going to write out what we expect all of our expenses to be. So let's talk about that for a second. We're going to have our fixed expenses. Those are the things that, regardless of whether or not we're doing business, we still have to pay that bill. Your rent, your lease, your utilities, okay? If you bought a truck or a fleet of trucks for your business, regardless of whether or not you're selling anything that month, you still have to pay that truck bill, okay? Those are fixed expenses. Then we have our variable expenses, our COGS, C-O-G-S, cost of goods sold, all right? Those variable expenses are all the expenses that are affiliated with you doing business, okay? Cost of goods sold represents everything, all the expenses you have because you're doing business. Now, there's a couple other factors you want to work into your business plan, because we're not by any means done yet. The other factor you want to put in is the owner's salary. Very important. Put this in your business plan. What do you foresee the owner of the business or the shareholders, what is their take going to be? What's the owner's salary look like? Then we also want to have in a built-in profit percentage for our business. This is so extremely important, because we need to show, especially to that investor somewhere down the road someday, that our business makes money, not just pays the bills, but also is able to retain cash. And that retained earnings is our profit percentage. And then the last thing is that if you have any other expenses that you foresee coming out of your business because your business is growing, and I'm talking things like, does your business support or give regularly, annually to a charity? If you do, we want to put that in our business plan. So those types of expenses we want to include, because then at the end of the year, if we've saved $5,000 in our charity savings account, and quite literally, I mean, you have an operating account, you have a profit account, and you have a charity account, 3 different accounts set up at the bank, and a percentage goes into each of those accounts every month, okay? And at the end of the year, you have your charity account, and you get to sit down with your key employees or your family members at the end of the year, and you get to write checks for charity. And it's a great feeling. So if that's part of your plan, make sure that you include it in your business plan. Make sure you put it in your cash flow statement. Once you have all that figured out, now we need to figure out how much money do we need to make to hit all these goals. And we just add them all up. Add up our fixed expenses, add up our variable expenses, add up the owner's salary, add up our profit percentage, add up our charity account, add it all up. We get to a number, and now what we're going to do is divide that number by 12, or we're going to divide it by 52, or we're going to divide it by the number of days we plan to be open this year for our business. And that becomes then our KPI, our key performance indicator. We know that if we're hitting those financial goals on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly basis, that we're on track to hitting our goals overall. So keep that in mind. That's how we work on our cash flow statement. Really is just a pencil, a paper, and a calculator. List everything, put it in there, and let's make sure it's a reality. The other things that you need to do if you're setting up a business plan for the first time is you have to establish your legal entity, okay? This is required by the federal government, by the state. You need to have a legal entity established. So get with an attorney and determine if you need to have an LLC, a PC, S Corp, C Corp. Talk with your attorney about that and get that legal entity set up, because the way that you handle your taxes is based upon that legal entity. Make sure you have an accounting team or a CPA that you work with. If you're a larger company, then you will for sure probably have an internal accounting team, but you may also have a third party that does audits for you. Have a business coach who can help you out with those day-to-day questions, week-to-week questions, and make sure that you're a part of trade associations. These are all part of your trusted advisors, is who we call them. When you're establishing your business plan, you want to establish the end goal in mind first. Start with the end in mind. In other words, what do you want your business to look like when you're all done with it? And this is a big audacious goal, right? In other words, if you're a Mexican restaurant, maybe you are serving authentic Mexican food within the Washington area. If you have other goals in mind, how big can you make this goal become, okay? Keep in mind, if you're a small coffee shop, you and Starbucks started with the same place, an idea, all right? So how big can your goal be? Start with the end in mind. And then you put together your mission statement. Once you know where you're going, it's a lot easier to determine that path, how we're going to get there. So you need to have that vision first, that big global vision, if that's what you want to do. Maybe it's not global, maybe it's local. That's fine, but have that vision, because once you have that vision established, now we can establish the way to get there, our mission statement, the roadmap. Let's talk about some mission examples. Action Coach, we say, world abundance through business re-education. In other words, we believe that there's enough money to go around for everybody. But the way that we get there, the way that everybody is satisfied within their business, is knowing better how to run their business. What about enriching lives by creating amazing outdoor spaces? That's from a local playground company. They make these really cool wooden structures for kids. How about Washington's fastest, creative, and affordable construction company? All right, that's a nice mission. The #1 choice in plumbing and gas repairs in Australia. There you go, there's a global approach. All children reach their full potential and bring their unique gifts to the world. These are examples of mission statements. Now we're going to talk about your USP, your unique selling proposition. In other words, what makes your business unique from the other businesses within your industry type? In other words, what's your point of difference? So your USP, to be successful, it's truly unique to you. It's exciting to your target market. These are things that people will talk about again and again after they've left your place of business. They found it really exciting to be there, okay? And they tell their friends about it. They want to tell their friends, tell their relatives. And I love this. It's something that cannot be easily copied. Because if it can be, it's an obvious ripoff on your business. Let me give you an example. If I went out and opened up a restaurant and started making Big Macs exactly the way McDonald's makes a Big Mac, that's an obvious steal, an obvious ripoff. It's going against a trade that McDonald's has established, right? So that's something we want to keep in mind is what is it that's so unique to us that we can lay claim to, okay? So it's the law of marketing, right? It's the rule of being first to the marketplace with your unique selling proposition. Keep in mind, if your competitors can say it, then it's not unique. Let's take a look at a couple examples. We have a friendly staff. Would you say that that's a unique selling proposition? No, it's not. What about our shop is clean and tidy? No, that is not a unique selling proposition. Other people can say the same thing, right? What about we have a 24-hour money back guarantee? Check mark on that one. That's pretty unique, right? That's pretty impressive. Let's look at a few more. We have a stock at a range of sizes. No, that's not very unique, okay? What if we said we have a unique 8-step fitting program to ensure that our staff will fit you correctly? Oh, now that's something you don't see every day. That's unique. All of our staff attend an intensive 2-day color coordination training program. Yes, that's unique. We are well established. No, and that pains me to say that, right? If you're a multi-generational business owner, you want to think, man, we're well established. We've been around since 1957. I'm a 3rd-generation owner of our business. That's got to mean something to somebody, right? It does, but it's not enough to be a USP, all right? There's no guarantee that because you're the 3rd-generation owner, that the products or services you're selling are as important as they were when your business first started. Maybe there was something lost in the line of communication, but it's not enough to claim it as a USP. We care about you. No, that's not a USP either. I mean, you might, but it's not enough to distinguish you from your competition. How about we have a pickup and delivery alteration service to and from your home? Yeah, that's a USP. You better believe that's a USP. We have 28 different brands of coffee and tea just so you and your friend can enjoy your time with us. That is also a USP. That makes you unique. You've identified it specifically, and that's the difference on a USP. In the dental industry, let's talk about a USP there, right? What's the pain factor? What is it that causes our customers pain, and what can we do that fixes that pain? What is it that we can help them out? Many people don't like going to the dentist. Why? Because of the pain and the long wait. We call that insult to injury, right? It's like, you're going to wait a long time. When you come see us, it's going to hurt. So how can we fix that? What can we do? We guarantee that you will have a comfortable experience and never have to wait more than 15 minutes, or you will receive a free exam. Now, what they did there is they put together a USP and coupled that with a guarantee. You will never wait more than 15 minutes. And when you do see us, it's going to be a pain-free. It's going to be a comfortable experience. Or if it's not, it's free. What about in the food industry? The kids are starving, but mom and dad are too tired to cook. That's the pain factor, right? That's the point of pain. What are we going to do for dinner tonight? I don't know. I've been working hard all day. So what do? Pizza delivered in 30 minutes, or it's free. That used to be Domino's slogan. They don't do that anymore. But that was their USP, and they used it for years and years and years. And boy, they rode that train. And that's cool, right? You're hungry now. I don't want to go out to eat necessarily. Why? Because I don't want to wait in a long line. I don't want to wait to get my food. I'm hungry right now. So Domino's came in and said, we'll give you your pizza delivered to you in 30 minutes. From the time you call us, 30 minutes, or it's free. Wow. Other well-known USPs, again, we'll look around the globe here. G.A. Perry, the good guys, M&Ms, of course. What's the USP for M&Ms? Right, your hands won't melt in your hands, melts in your mouth, right? Okay. FedEx, they get it there in 24 hours. Google's USP. So your turn. What are the 3 top frustrations people have when they're dealing with your industry? This is how you determine your USP. I'm not talking about your business. I'm talking about your industry. What are those top 3 frustrations that people experience in your industry? Write those down. Get a sticky note out. Write those down. We need to identify those because you are going to solve those frustrations in your business. What are the three main reasons your customers come to you versus your competition? Or flip it around. Why did they go to your competition and not go to you? What is it that they're doing that you're not doing, and vice versa? And you can take this, you can go really pretty far down the rabbit hole on this. You want to ask your customers, why do they come to your business? Why do they shop with you? Why do they buy from you? You want to know the answer to that question, okay? Because this helps you to identify your USP, all right? These are the things that you market, because if one person or two people feel that way, most likely many people do. And what would you love to be able to promise to your customers that would be a game changer in your industry? In other words, what can you build your guarantee on? What can you do? Okay, what is it that you can offer that you can stand behind 100% and give a guarantee for? Is it that 30-minute delivery or your pizza's free type of thing? Is it a guaranteed growth percentage within their business? Is it the fact that you've got the best coffee in town guaranteed and we can stand behind it? And what do you measure those standards by? Take a look at the areas within your business and see what you can offer for a guarantee. Maybe it's just simply a 30-day money-back guarantee. In other words, take our product, buy it, try it. If it's 30 days, if it's still in good condition and you're not satisfied with it, bring it back for a full refund, okay? So let's look at our business outcomes and the things that relate to our business. There's a lot of talk about the different pieces of our business that we need to have identified. And is your business based upon intellectual property, trademarks and patents, proprietary systems or information? These are things that you can build your business on, things that you're doing within your business that makes you individual and unique. We talk about plans for expansion. And when I talk about expansion, people think, oh my goodness, a second location, I can barely run my first. Well, your expansion doesn't necessarily have to be a second location. It could be an outlet. It could be other places, other towns, other cities. Starbucks is a prime example of that. Again, if you own a coffee shop, your idea and Starbucks' idea started at the same place with an idea. It's just that Starbucks wanted to have multiple locations worldwide. They had a plan in place to grow and serve coffee. They knew if they could serve it in Seattle and one store could make money, why can't we just duplicate the system around the globe? And that's what they've done. But we don't limit to our imaginations. We can expand via our website, okay? We can, the whole drive-through concept started because the convenience store, the fast food restaurant wanted to make more money, but they couldn't see more people in the store because they already had a line 5 people deep waiting to order their hamburger and fries. So they said, how else can we serve more people? And they said, let's pop a hole in the side of the building and make a drive-through. And that happens. I mean, I'm old enough, I go back to remember when we didn't have drive-throughs. We had drive-ins, but not drive-throughs. So what are the things that you can do that would emulate like a drive-through? It could be a website. You could sell merchandise through your store's website. Learn how to create landing pages, squeeze pages. Learn how to do Facebook marketing, because there are many ways that you can drive traffic to your store. Improve your over-the-phone sales. You've put scripts into place so that when you answer the phone, no matter who from your organization answers the phone, it's always answered the same way with a script. And then it directs that customer to the proper channels to make that sale happen, okay? And if we grow and grow, we need to add more salespeople. And again, we train them all the same way. We have those scripts, we have those employee handbooks in place. Those are all part of our business planning model that demonstrates how we're going to grow our business. And we want to grow our business. We want to plan to grow our business. Each year, we want to be better than the year prior to that. I mean, we're not going to stay flat every year. We're not going to be outpaced by the growth of our economy. We need to keep up, and we want to supersede our growth every year. So look at your systems for expansion within each area, all right? If you identify that you're going to sell products or services over your website, put together your system for that website sales process. In other words, are you going to advertise on Facebook? And are you going to direct them to a landing page? And remember, a landing page is not your website, okay? Your website tells all about your business. It may be multiple pages, but your landing page is where you're doing the call to action. That's your shopping cart. That's where you're asking them to make that purchase and submit their payment details. That's your landing page. They land on that final page of where you're asking them to do something, okay? So if you're going to start to sell things through the website, you want to do your research and figure out how is the best way to do that and what is the quickest way to get my customer to my landing page. What is your unique, and when I say unique, and short web address, okay? When we owned our dental practice up in Coralville, the name was Pediatric Dentistry of Coralville, PC. That's a mouthful, that's a lot to write. So our web address was PEDS DDS ICCV, short for obviously Coralville. Again, didn't really roll off your tongue, but it wasn't quite as long as someone misspelling Pediatric Dentistry of Coralville. See what I'm saying? You want to keep your website, your domain name as short as possible so people can type it in quicker and find it. What are the memberships services that you can offer in your business? This is another area of expansion. If you're like a lot of folks, you've got apps on your phone. I've got dozens of apps on my phone, and most of them come with an annual membership fee. It might be $4, but if you've got millions of people out there buying your app at $4 a piece, that's a sizable, that's a tidy amount of income. What are the memberships that you can establish within your business? I mean, if you're a hairdresser, can you have a product membership club where each month, if they pay you $49 a month, you send them $49+ worth of product every month? And again, you're selling that to them at retail cost, so you're still making money on the deal, but they don't have to think about it. At our house, we have cleaning supplies that come to our house on a monthly basis. I think too often. My wife tells me no, not often enough. But every month we get a box, and it's a membership-based service, and we get cleaning products. What are the things that you can do within your business that you can create a membership service where people would willingly subscribe to you, because now that's money generated month after month after month after month, and it goes right to your bank account. And not a bad deal, really. More and more businesses are doing that. There's a new car wash up in Iowa City. I just joined it, Club Car Wash. I'm not promoting them, and I'm not promoting them. I'm just saying I just joined it, okay? And I can get my car washed every single day because I'm a member of the club now. Will I? No. Will there be some months I forget it? Our economy, we also need to learn how to adapt. So we want to be able to take the things that we have available to us and say, what else can we do to add on? If our sales force isn't busy, what else can we be selling that keeps our sales force busy? What machinery do we have that we can maybe retool a little bit, and what other product can we add on? And let's talk about building your team. It's interesting. Tom Peters said most employees are motivated, energetic, committed, enthusiastic, and loyal, except for the 8 hours that they're working for you. And you feel that way sometimes, don't you? As the business owner, you feel that way. It's like, oh my goodness, I got these motivated people, but when they're here, it's like, come on, guys, you can do this. You can do this, right? So how do we motivate our team? How do we do this? Many of us, honestly, when we have our team together, it feels like a dumpster fire, right? Like, so what do we do? How do we develop those skills and the attitude with our staff so we all feel like we're working like a well-oiled machine and not a dumpster fire? Well, winning teams know how to get the right people on the bus. If you're a fan of Jim Collins and read his book, Good to Great, he talks very specifically about getting the right people on the bus. And then when they're on the bus, you get them in the right seat on the bus. And the successful businesses out there, that have been doing it for decades and decades. They've figured this out, and you can too. You can figure out how to get the right people on your team and put them in the right slots so they are their most productive. And honestly, if they are their most productive, they're also happier because they feel like they're using the skill sets that come naturally to them. You have to put together an org chart. You got to draft this out. Who reports to who? This is so important, especially when there's conflict resolution to take place. You need to know that you have safe spaces established within your organization, and you need to know who your direct report is, and that you can go to that direct report and who you can have that safe conversation with. And you need to know who his or her direct report is, because if you're having an issue with your supervisor, you still need to be able to voice your concerns as an employee. Well, as the business owner, you need to establish that organizational chart, and you need to put that in place, and you need to support it, because you want your employees to feel safe, because when they feel safe, they feel more comfortable, and they should be able to be more productive for you because of that. And then as you build your business, you need to know who I need to add on to my team as my business grows. And that becomes part of your 3-year and your 5-year plan. And you want to know who those positions are, okay? Maybe right now you're acting as business owner and general manager, but when you hit growth level X, okay, new level, new devil, that's what they say, right? When you hit that level, now you're going to hire a general manager. You're going to bring them into play. Once you have your team on the bus, it's a big thing that you'll want to do a team assessment. You want to figure out those skill sets that each team member brings and share out those skill sets with all the team members. So they now know what the other person does, why they do it, and how they can do it. Because if I have a skill set that's better than your skill set, and you have a skill set that's better than my skill set, the two of us together, we're going to make a better organization, right? You want to know what your exit strategy looks like. Now, you might be thinking, oh my goodness, I'm just thinking about starting my business. I've only been in business for a couple of years or 5 years. I'm going to work until I'm 70 years old. Fine, that's good. But what's your exit strategy look like? In other words, what do you want your business to look like when you're done? Okay? Because when you're done, you may have just built a passive income for yourself. When you're done, you've created a recipe book, an organizational system that generates cash. And now you can sell that. You can take it to market and you can sell it to somebody else. And again, this goes back to why we have our owner's salary built into our business plan. Because if we don't put that in our business plan, and if we're not doing that year after year after year, we've created nothing more than a hobby for ourselves. And that's really hard to sell a hobby to somebody else for several $100,000 or several $1 million. That's what they're buying. They are buying your system, your recipe book for generating cash, okay? So what does your business look like? Go back to your vision and tell me what that worldwide, that global view is, or that dominant in my local community view is. What's that look like for your business when you're all done with it? Because that's the direction we're going to go. That's where your mission statement is going to start carrying you there. That's when you start to realize the importance of your KPIs, why we look at our profit and loss statements, because we want to make sure that we're on track to get to that vision, okay? What our business looks like when we're done. So when you're developing that vision, you want to provide as much detail as you possibly can. In other words, what does it feel like? What does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it taste like? Everything you can, as much emotion as you can put into that vision, the better, okay? My family and I were big fans of Disney. We like to go to Disney World. We were down there in January, then COVID hit. We haven't been back since, but we love it to go down there. Disney is very good about hitting all those emotions. When you go to the rock and roller coaster, you hear the music by Aerosmith. You get the sense and the feeling that you're in a Hollywood sound studio. Now you're going to go on the I-5 up to the Coliseum to watch Aerosmith in concert, and you get you can hear it, you can sense it, you can feel it, you can taste it, you can smell it, all of it, okay? Same with your business as well. What are the sounds supposed to be like? What do you want your business environment to sound like? What does it feel like, okay? Organically, what does it feel like? When our customers buy from us, what kind of emotion do they want, do we want them to feel so that when they walk away, they're like, wow, that was great. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to go back, all right? Your business can be that same kind of a business, but you have to identify it. You are the driving force behind this as the business owner. You want to set your reticular activating system. It is a compass for your brain, okay? As you look at these things that you're putting in your business plan, as you take a look at the sights, sounds, smells, the feels, all the feels for your business, you think about that before you go to bed, and in your subconscious, your brain starts to connect the dots for you. That's how you'd establish your goals, okay? Because as you're sleeping, your brain is saying, you know, if you did this and this and this, and all of a sudden you're waking up energized on Monday morning, right? When we're business owners, the sun is always coming up. That's our attitude. As a business owner, the sun is always coming up, right? I don't care. It's not dictated by our age. It's not dictated by anything other than our mindset. We establish our SMART goals. Again, what are SMART goals? They're specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're results driven, and they have a time frame. All right, those are your SMART goals. We have to have our SMART goals in place. That's why we do quarterly planning, annually planning. That's why we do forecast models, because we want to know what our specific goals are. Again, go back to what we talked about. We are putting together a system for generating cash. So what are your 5-year revenue goals? If you haven't thought about it, this is the time to do it. Think about, where do I want to be in 5 years? Maybe it's just as simple as that I want to grow my business by 15% every year for the next 5 years. And then you take a look at, what are your profit goals? All right, how much profit do you want to make within your business? Again, your business should be having a profit, making a profit every single year. And I'm not talking about what you take home as the owner's salary. I'm talking about how much money is in retained earnings within your business. Why is that important? Because what if you want to open up a second location and you don't want to go to a bank to fund it? Well, maybe you can save 25% of your annual earnings and save that every year. And after 5 years, it's part of your 5-year goal to open up a second location and fund it yourself. All right, so what are your profit goals? What other goals do you want to establish? We talked a little bit about charity goals, the things that we want to do to help other people out, okay? I spoke with an individual last week who she wants to open up a coffee shop in a small town in Iowa, and she's driven by her mission that she likes to give to charity. And I told her that that's part of your vision statement. You tell your customers a certain percentage of every dollar spent in our store goes to help out this charity. That's a great vision. That's a great vision. It's a great goal. So put it in your business plan. What are those goals that you want to achieve? Okay. Why do you do what you do? It's not all about the money. Most times it's not about the money. The money is only the driving force, right? It's only the driving force to live out your vision. Okay. But your business plan is your recipe book for how you're going to make the money to hit your vision, to hit those goals. So establish those critical success factors, those KPIs, those key performance indicators, those daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, quarterly goals, and let's track them. We want to do a SWOT analysis. If you've never heard about that before, I'm sure most of you probably have. What you have are your internal and your external areas. SWOT basically means, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are my opportunities? And what are my threats? Your strengths and weaknesses are your internal things, what you know to be your strengths, okay? And also your weaknesses, you've identified those. Now, once we've identified our strengths and weaknesses, both as a business and personally, this gets to be a little bit fun, because it's the strengths that got us to where we are today, but it's our weaknesses that are holding us back. Now think about that. Your strengths got you where you are today, but it's your weaknesses that are holding you back. So what do we want to do? We want to diminish those weaknesses. We want to get rid of that head trash. So many times the things that hold us back are the things that we heard as kids, and we just carry that into our adult life, and it's not necessarily true, okay? So we want to identify those weaknesses and really put them under a microscope and say, are they real, or is it just something I thought was the right way, but it may not be? And then look at those strengths and how can we build those strengths? How can we make those stronger? And then we look at our opportunities and our threats. That's the external side of our business, okay? What are the opportunities out there? In other words, what's my competition doing that they're not doing well that I would particularly excel at? What are the things I can do? And what are they doing? The threats, right? What are they doing really well that's a threat to my business? We want to know what those are. We have to know what those are. We're going to go into this with our eyes wide open. And then that's how we start to develop our competitive advantage, our USP. It's doing that SWOT analysis that shows us and directs us toward our USP that distinguishes our business from our competing businesses within the same business industry. Once you can identify that advantage that you have over your competitors, that will help you generate more sales, okay? Can you provide the same product at a value price or a lower price? Or if I'm going to charge a higher price, why would people want to buy from me at a higher price than from my competitor? Okay, that's worth thinking about. When I was down in Arizona, I bought a coffee. I think I paid like $18 for this cup of coffee. You're like, that's crazy. Who would pay $18 for a cup of coffee? We were at a resort in Arizona, and as I'm sitting there with my family having dinner, I looked over and there's this huge fireball across the way. Well, they excelled in this specific cultural coffee thing. I don't even know what the coffee was, what the name of it was. All I know is that when the guy came to my table with his cart, he lined the inside of the coffee cup with something, right? Torched that thing, and this huge fireball goes up, and then he mixes the hot drink in the coffee cup, and it's already warmed up by the fireball. It was cool. I mean, it was worth it for the experience for that $18 cup of coffee. I mean, but it was fun. It was an experience, and I'm still talking about it today, and that was like 10 years ago that it happened. What can you do in your business where you can charge more for your product or service, but people will pay for it and they'll talk about it? So think about that. Then we define our revenue and our market. Let's go back to that slide for a second. How can we define who our target market is, who wants to buy from us, okay? And how are we going to generate revenue from that market? Again, that's from our USP. It's the unique products that we sell. It's our intellectual properties that we have that we own exclusively, okay? So define that, because we're going to put that in your business plan. We need to put that in our business plan. And then what are the strengths and weaknesses of our products and services? Ask yourself that. What are they? What are we really, really good at? And let's be honest with ourselves and say, this is where we fall down. This is where our company is falling down. Can we fix it? The answer is yes. It might take some time. It might take some money. It might take some training, but we can fix it, okay? But get the head trash out and say to yourself, let's fix this thing, right? We want to put that vision in place where we say, look, like John F. Kennedy did, we're going to go to the moon. I don't know how, but in 10 years, we're going to be walking on the moon. All right. Now we have a vision. Let's go. Now we want to make sure that we talked about this, right? If we can tell other people, if we can show them what our business looks like, feels like, smells like, tastes like, right? Now we can become more and more clear. And as we're becoming more and more clear, and we put those action steps into place, that's how we get to our success level, okay? The clearer we can be in our vision, the clearer we can describe what we're doing to other people so they get excited about it. If we can make our message so clear that other people can repeat it and share that clarity with others, now we're rolling. Understand your sales inflow. We want to look at our seasonal adjustments. In other words, does your business do the same amount, generate the same amount of cash in January as it does in July? If not, then we want to identify those months that are profitable for us and other months that are not quite so profitable. All right, we should be making a profit every month. But I had a friend one time who owned a Halloween shop, and during the month of October, he sold a bunch of merchandise. In fact, he sold so much merchandise that month of October carried him through the rest of the year. That's kind of like a farmer who sells crops in the fall, right? They spend most of the year cultivating the ground, planting the seeds, making sure that a derecho doesn't come through, or hoping that a derecho doesn't come through. And then in the fall, they sell their crops, okay? So we want to know what the seasonal aspects are of our individual businesses. What months are making a lot of money? What months are not making a lot of money? If it's a month that doesn't make a lot of money and you just can't change it, it's seasonal, there's no way you're going to change it, that might be the month that you go on vacation. So think about that. What activities are not happening in your worst months? We want to review each and every month. We want to sit down with our key players in our business. We want to take a look at, all right, what are we today? We're in November, so we will take a look at October of 2020. And we would say, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? In other words, we learn from our mistakes, right? We call those learnings, all right? What did we do that did not perform the way that we thought it was going to? What product or service do we offer that didn't perform? Or what product or service do we offer and it outperformed our projections? We want to look at those things because as we look at those things, it makes us a smarter business owner. It helps us to forecast for next year in a better sense. So let's look at those. And then you put together a spreadsheet like this. You know what your seasons look like on a month-by-month basis. You know where your growth areas are. You know which months are performing really well, and you know which months don't perform. This is a visual way of putting those numbers into play. So understand those seasons, okay? Understand them so you can better forecast your business growth for years going forward. Then you do a check-in. You know, in 5 years from now, did you hit your 5-year revenue goal? You'll know before you get there if you're on track or not, right? And then what drives your revenue? It's basically the number of transactions times the average dollar sale. How do you figure that out? Pretty simple. At the end of today, here it is Tuesday, at the end of the day, take a look at all the money that you brought into your store, divided by the number of customers that came into your store and spent money with you, okay? And that's your average dollar sale. Now, does that mean that every customer spent that $5.97? No, just your average. But once you know your average dollar sale per customer, now we can start to work on how do we improve that average dollar sale. And then we look at the number of transactions. If my customers come in once a month, how can I get them to come in twice a month? Or they only buy a car from me once a year, once every 3 years, what can I do to inspire that customer to buy more often from me? All right. So that's where the fun comes into play, because once we know our numbers, once we know the score, now we can look at our improvements. You need to understand your cash gap. Basically, from the time that you spend the money when it leaves your checkbook, okay? If you sell products and services and you buy wholesale, but you're not going to sell it for 3 months, that's a 3-month cash gap before you get reimbursed for the money that you spent 3 months prior. So know your cash gap, because we want to shorten that cash gap, because remember, cash is king. The money you have in your checking account today is worth more than the potential money you might make down the road, okay? Need more information? We're always glad to help here at the Chamber of Commerce. I'm always able to help you out with ActionCOACH Campus. Make sure that you know what your products and services are, gather your financial data. There are people around the community that can help you out. You can check out with your local bankers as well. But if you're a business owner, if you're looking for help, help is out there. My name is Lee Iben. I'm the firm owner for ActionCOACH Campus, and it's been a pleasure to bring this to you today. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. And let's see, I'll stop my share on my screen. And we'll stop the recording. There we go.